November is over. It's time to talk about the 21 books that I read in November. Pretty good month for me. A lot of those were novellas, so it's not like they're books, but it's not as many pages as I would like to have gotten to. But I also read a lot of big books that I haven't quite finished yet, so maybe we're okay with the pages. My average time to finish a book was 3 days. I feel really good about that. I read 6,701 pages. I finished 21 books. My themes, my moods, dark was highest, tense, mysterious, maybe I need to chill out, noted. My pace was between fast and medium, and that totally makes sense to me. I did a 24-hour reading vlog where I read novellas, so I think a lot of them were more fast-paced than usual. Usually it's almost all medium, and I very rarely get slow. I'm not a slow-paced girl. I just can't do it. It's not for me most of the time. My page number, over half were less than 300 pages, which makes sense again with the whole novella thing that I did this month. One book was over 500 pages, and most of the ones that I read not in that 24-hour period were between 300 and 500 pages. That's super typical for me. All fiction this month. I have given up on my nonfiction a month thing for this year. I'm going to try again next year. We'll get them next year. My genres, highest was horror, which makes sense because I also read all of the horror nominees for Goodreads, and I think that went pretty well. I also vlogged. I think I have 3 vlogs out for November, which feels really good. I struggle with vlogging. It's just the fact of the matter, and I think 3 is pretty good. 2 of them were over like weekend periods, and only one of them was like a longer one, but it was 7 books. That's a lot of books for me. My second highest is LGBTQIA, which is like not an actual genre, but I guess it's fun. The Storygraph tracks it. And then my third highest is thriller, which I think is really interesting. I think some of the books that I picked up for the Goodreads Choice Awards are probably considered thriller versus horror, but they were in the horror category anyways. And my average star rating is 3.86, which is kind of low for me, but I also read a lot of books that I was probably never planning on picking up if it wouldn't have been for the different like challenges that I did. I read quite a few new authors this month too. Probably 50-50 with authors I've read from before and authors I've not read from before. And I think that's a pretty high ratio for me. I have been sticking to authors that I've read from before for the most part recently, I feel, but I branched out a little bit and I'm proud of that. And I had some wins. I had some not wins from authors that I've read from before too, so I feel like it really does not matter. Most of these I've vlogged actually, but we're gonna talk about them all anyways. The Fireborn Blade by Charlotte Bond. This is about a female knight, and she goes on this quest to slay a dragon, and her like squire that she brings with is not really who he says he is, and that gives her a huge problem. And she ends up feeling bad for the dragon too. I'm very interested to see where this goes. Believe it's a novella duology. It's not like a novella series, but I really enjoyed this one, and I gave this around 4 stars, which is really good for me for a novella. I usually find, especially with fantasy, novellas don't really do it for me. They don't have enough time to world build the way that I'm looking for or do the character development that I'm excited about, but this was really solid, and I will be reading more from this author and concluding the duology. We All Rot Eventually by Mia Ballard, and the beginning of this gave me really big Pearl vibes, except this is set in 2005, and I really enjoyed Sugar. I was very excited for this Mia Ballard novella, but unfortunately it kind of just didn't do it for me. The ending, it just got really chaotic in a way that I didn't enjoy, and I also got tired of the kills. Like, she kept killing men, and I was like, can we do something else? This is actually getting to be boring, which is impressive in a bad way, it feels. I gave this one like 2.5 stars. I was really irritated at it, especially in the moment, but you know, we got through it. It was short, and I'm probably keeping it because I do love the cover. Crypt of the Moon Spider by Nathan Ballingrud really surprised me by how much I liked it. This is about a mental institution on the moon, and this husband brings his wife there, and there's spiders and brain surgery, and it gets really weird, really gross, really tense. And I think it's a novella trilogy. The second book is already out, and I will be continuing it. I like this. I give this 4 stars. I found it really eerie, really weird, but easy enough to follow. It didn't like get too lost in itself that I feel some gothic, weird stories tend to do. I thought this was really solid. The Scourge Between Stars by Ness Brown did have me shedding a tear. This is a sci-fi story about a woman whose father is supposed to be the captain, but she has to be like the interim captain and make a lot of hard choices for a lot of different people to like do the most good and cause the least harm, basically. I would say that if you're a fan of Becky Chambers but want something that's just like a little bit grittier, this is that book. I really enjoyed it. It was the perfect length, and I would totally read more from Ness Brown. I'm not sure if they've written more things. It kind of doesn't look like it, because usually it'll say if they have a backlist in the beginning of their book. One of my favorite books of the month, and maybe my only 5-star. I can't actually remember. But this is Open Throat by Henry Hoke. This is about a queer mountain lion, and he lives under the Hollywood sign. We get to see the world from his eyes. He understands some things, but not everything, and he ends up befriending this girl who is kind of lonely in the same way that he is. It's entirely heartbreaking. I loved it so much, though, that this is just like a perfect book to me. It's so good, and I will be thinking about it for a very long time. As soon as I was done with this, I was like, oh, I want to reread this immediately. It's so good. You just need to read it. You should just read it. It was super short. I think the audiobook took me like an hour to get through. It's like normally 2 hours, but I listened to its speed. It's extremely short, and the actual book itself is almost told in like, not verse, but kind of verse. And then this is probably one of my more controversial opinions of the month. Nothing But Black and Teeth I thought was really good. This has like a 2 point something on Goodreads, which that's like one of the lowest Goodreads ratings I've ever seen. Soup is making his appearance. But this is kind of like a haunted house story. It's about a group of friends. One of them is getting married, and it's kind of like their last hurrah before the couple gets married, and they stay in this house, and it becomes like this liminal space that is not friendly. I liked it. I don't understand why the ratings are so low, and I'm not going to learn. I'm not about to ruin my experience of this book, but I thought it was really solid, really short, quick, fun read. The Extra by Annie Neugebauer is about 10 people who go on this camping trip. There is this like head camp counselor guy. It's like his job to run these things for people that have not gone backpacking before. It's their first time to learn how to do it in a more structured environment. And they go with 10 people, they wake up with 11 people, but everyone remembers everyone else. And this guy is trying to figure this out because they don't want to take the extra home with them. The ending felt really frustrating for me. It didn't feel satisfying, but I understand why the ending was the way it was. And I don't want to say more because I don't want to spoil it for you, but just know I was super frustrated by the ending of it. The Ballad of Black Tom, I think, was my other 5-star of the month, if I remember right. This was phenomenal. If you enjoyed Sinners, like the music aspect of it, not the vampires aspect of it, this is that book. This is about a young black man that goes to play for this affluent white man music, but the real crux of the story is his liminal space of a house, and there ends up being all of these like racially motivated things that happen to him, and it becomes supernatural. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was so good. And then I also read an arc that I had. This comes out in February of next year. It's Eradication of Fable by Jonathan Miles. This is about a man who really is just like so consumed in his grief, but he needs a job. So he takes this job that they claim that you get to save the world. It's basically a conservation effort of this island. There are goats just like overridden with goats, and he has to get rid of them so that this island can flourish the way that it is supposed to. These goats are an invasive species, and this man does not know if he can do this because like you have to kill so many goats, like an absurd amount of goats in like 6 weeks. Luckily, this is spoilers, but I wish I would have known this after figuring out while reading it what I was getting into. He's very bad at killing the goats. He's not very successful at all. But I enjoyed this story. It wasn't like entirely surprising or anything, but I liked it a lot. I had a good time, and it was funny in parts, it was sad in parts, it did the whole thing. I read 2 Aardvark picks this month, and they were both buddy reads, actually. I am a rep for Aardvark. I'm an affiliate, and if you want your first book for $4, use code madmax and you can get your first book for $4, no shipping. It's a really good deal, and you won't know until you get them, but these covers are so soft. It's just like doesn't make sense until you touch them. This is probably not going to sell you on these books though, because I didn't really love either of these. This is a cyberpunk Great Gatsby retelling. I didn't like The Great Gatsby. I'm not actually that surprised that I didn't like this one. I think that it was fine, but I think that it was basically The Great Gatsby with like technology, so I wasn't super stoked on it. This is Local Heavens by Kane Fajardo, by the way. And I thought it was fine. It's so beautiful. I'm actually really sad about it, but I'm probably not going to end up keeping this one. That's so pretty. But it just wasn't really what I wanted. from this book, and that's fine. A 3.5 to 3-star. And then One Bad Night is their short story anthology. They have so many good authors in this. I was surprised that I wasn't like super thrilled with any of these. My favorite one was by Jennifer Thorne, and it was about a group of parents who take all of their kids to the sleepover on this house, and then when they wake up, the house is gone and they're starting to forget things. And I thought it was by far the best one. Like, there's a Kylie Lee Baker story here, there's a Rachel Harrison story here, there's a CJ Leeds story here, and I just wasn't really stoked on any of them, which is unfortunate, but I will probably keep this because I did like a couple stories in it, and Aardvark is the only place that you can get this book. So this one I will be keeping. Also for the novella vlog that I did, I read Every Heart a Doorway by Sean McGuire. This was really good. I liked this more than I thought I was going to. This is about a group of children who have all gone to these magical places through these doorways and now are back in the real world, but all that they want most is to go back, and their parents like don't know what to do with them. So they're in this group home. This is kind of like the introduction to the series, I think. There's 10 novellas so far, so we're just like getting a feel for the world, and I thought it was really solid. I'm excited to continue with the series. I don't know if I'll read all 11 of them that are out at this point, but I will be continuing with it for now. For my Goodreads Choice Awards vlog, I did actually end up DNFing a book, but it wasn't my, well, you can watch the vlog, but I DNF'd Never Flinch by Stephen King. I just got really frustrated with it. Brian McCauley's Breathe and Bleed Out, did not care for that at all. That got like 1 to 2 stars from me. It's a slasher that I just felt really frustrated by. My most surprising perhaps was Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. This is like a possessed house situation and equal opportunity, mommy trauma and daddy issues, so that's really fun. This was so good. It was so much fun. It kind of felt cozy, but also like bad things were happening. Bad things, scary things were absolutely happening. It did have me stressed, but that was like a 4.5 star for me, which I was really surprised by. I did not care for So Thirsty by her last year at all. Did not care for it. That was great. I really enjoyed that. I will be securing my own copy because someone lent that to me. And then the two I already had on my radar, unfortunately, We Love You Bunny by Mona Awad was not really for me. This was unnecessary. It was tedious and didn't really have like the spirit of Bunny in it at all. I know that it's being set up for a trilogy now. I'm not really looking forward to that at all. And then How Bad Things Can Get by Darcy Coates. The Breathe and Bleed Out by Brian McCauley had me questioning if I enjoyed reading a slasher. I do. It just has to be good, and this was so good. This was kind of commentary on like the YouTube prank competition culture. It was definitely commentary on Mr. Beast, and it's about this island, this girl who used to be in a cult. She doesn't want anyone to know that she used to be in a cult, and then the cult kind of comes back and starts killing people. It was so fun, so engaging. We got so many different character point of views, and I enjoyed all of them. They all served a purpose for me. Some of them were like one-offs, but I thought they really helped tell the story. This was so good. This is my favorite Darcy Coates that I've read so far. It's only my second, I think, but it is my favorite. I also ended up reading Payne's Hollow, The Haunting of Payne's Hollow by Kelly Armstrong. This was like kind of a the guy with the head off that on the horse, I don't remember his name, but it was kind of like a retelling of that a little bit. A woman has to live in her like childhood cottage vacation home for 6 weeks in order to get $10 million, and she needs the money to help her mom who has like early onset Alzheimer's. It was really interesting. I probably would never have picked this up otherwise, and I didn't hate it. It was probably the one that I was the least likely to pick up and enjoyed the most. As far as what I was not planning on picking up at all that I didn't enjoy, The Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. I don't like motherhood horror. I do not. And I also get really frustrated when it's like about women, written by men, set in history. Obviously, women are not treated as equals at all. It just feels so frustrating. This I gave 3 stars. And it was my favorite Grady Hendrix that I've read, and hopefully will not have to read from again. And finally, 2 books left. Another one that I did a buddy read of, All That We See or Seem by Ken Liu. This was sent to me by the publisher, and I honestly didn't care for it that much. It was really nice they sent it to me because hardcovers are $30 now, which does feel like too much. It does. This was about a hacker, and she's also an orphan, but she's an adult. So I don't know if you still consider her to be an orphan. And she's trying to save this man and help his wife. who does these like AI dream things, experiences. She's kind of like a performance artist, but she's hiding from like her stalker, who's like this super rich billionaire mob type, and it feels a little cringe, a little bit, but I also had a good time, I guess, and it made me really stressed out about AI, regardless of whether these things are true or not right now. I feel like they all could be true, but I'm not sure if this is YA, but I think it is. I think that me at like 16 would have loved this, but me at not 16 was not as stoked about it. And I think it's set up to be a trilogy. I probably won't continue. It's like a 3.75 for me. And then my most anticipated release of the year, The Strength of the Few. I like this. It's definitely more like the Lycanius trilogy to me. I've only read the first book out of that series, but this didn't really feel like the Will of the Many to me as much. So I'm hoping to finish the Lycanius trilogy before the third book comes out, and then I can compare them. But this, I didn't dislike this, and I enjoyed each third of the story for what it was. We kind of got like the main character broken down into 3 parts, but it wasn't necessarily what I was hoping for. Obviously, like, I'm not in control of the story. I'm not the author, but it just wasn't, it didn't have that like whimsy almost that The Will of the Many did. This was like a 4.25 star for me. So it's probably the most disappointing book that I read, but only because I had such high hopes for this. Was it maybe also the best book that I read this month? I think it might have been, even though I gave a couple books 5 stars. It was either this or Open Throat by Henry Hoke. This is definitely the most rereadable book that I read this month. The worst book that I read this month was actually not my DNF. It would be Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian McCauley, because I felt such visceral rage for that book. It was so bad. I'm annoyed about it. I'm so glad that I didn't read it with my eyeballs. I think I would have been even angrier, or probably would have ended up DNFing it more than likely. It was only like 8 hours on audio, and it read like very quickly. My biggest surprise derogatory was probably We Love You, Bunny. I was expecting to like this a lot more. My biggest surprise, not derogatory, was Play Nice by Rachel Harrison. This book alone is convincing me to give a couple more authors second chances, because I like this one so much more than So Thirsty. The weirdest book I probably read was The Crypt of the Moon Spider. This is just like such a unique concept, and the most fun I had reading a book was probably How Bad Things Can Get by Darcy Coates. Those are all my superlatives. Those are all the books I read this month. Let me know the best book that you read this month so that my TPR can be even longer. If you didn't read anything particularly fantastic this month, leave me either a moon emoji or a spider emoji for Crypt of the Moon Spider, and I will see you hopefully in a video tomorrow. Really trying to do this Bookmas thing. We shall see. But happy day 2 of Bookmas, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!